Home is where connections are made, memories are formed, and ideas are born. And no one knows home better than NFM. Thanks for tuning in to I Am Home, the podcast that goes deeper than trends and dives into what it means to make your house a home.
Hello, you're listening to I Am Home, the podcast for everything home life. I'm Tyler Weiskup, joined by my co-host, too, in a world of hamburger hosts. She's prime rib. It's Becca Sudbeck.
Oh my gosh. Hi, Tyler.
Hi, Becca. And I'm also joined by the medium rare Hilary Waltemath.
Hey.
Hi, Hilary. Yeah, no, Hilary, you're well done, I'd say.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I don't.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
that's a
month long.
compliment.
You may be wondering why I've got some meat themed pumps. We're doing barbecue this episode. We're going to be talking grilling. We've got an NFM friend from Weber Grills who's going to be joining us here in a second. And our goal is to debunk months. We've been doing it all month long, and I'm really excited to have this conversation. But before we get to it, let me tell you why we're even doing this podcast. And that's because NFM is more than just your everything home store. We're in the business of improving lifestyles because your home life should be your best life. Learn more at nfm.com. Now, I am thrilled to introduce our guest, Steve Coe. Hi, Steve.
Hey, how are you?
Hi. We're so excited for you to be here. Steve, you are an outdoor barbecue aficionado, lover of all things grilling. And you come to us from Weber Grills,
Yes,
along with
yes.
some other companies that we work with at NFM. You've got like 15 years experience in the industry. Is that right?
Actually, no. I think
I mean, it doesn't sound right. Just based on
2010 is when I started working for Weber and stuff. But I've been in
Okay.
the rep business since 2005. So yeah,
Okay.
but yeah, and I loved actually cooking even before I got into the Weber business. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. I actually kind of fell into being a Weber rep.
Oh, okay.
So there was a gentleman here in Omaha, Nebraska, who was the previous Weber rep, and he retired, and they were looking to bring somebody on board. I just moved to Omaha, and they thought that I would be, I guess, a good fit.
Yeah.
So anyway, but yeah, that's how I kind of got started into the
rest
business.
is history.
The
now.
rest is history.
It's
Yeah, absolutely.
Storybook
Yes.
all the way through.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I love that. And again, you're on. We're going to be talking popular grilling myths, and you're coming
Yes.
from it from the perspective of obviously your Weber knowledge, just your years of grilling, and we're just going to tackle this head first as much as we can.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's just one of those things where the more you cook, the more you learn. I mean, I think there's always a learning curve to everything, especially with grilling.
Yeah.
Years of experience, years of failing, burning stuff up, and it's crazy. But yeah, the grills in general, things are just constantly evolving. But no, it's one of my favorite things to actually talk about with people is grilling.
Yeah.
Now, there is no right or wrong. I'm not an expert. I will say that.
Well,
So
I think that's the beauty of it.
I'm an expert
right?
of being not an expert.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
just say that. So yeah.
I love that.
Okay, well, I did, again, just very cursory research before we brought you
Yes.
on today. I learned some things about Weber that I thought were pretty cool. Is it true that the original kettle design was inspired by marine buoys?
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
It is actually a fascinating story. So the way Weber started was back in 1952. George Stephen was working for Weber Metalworks back in Chicago, and he was like a huge grill enthusiast. So back then they used to have these like open fire pits, and so there would be no lid. It was almost like a brick fireplace. They call them braziers or something like that.
Okay.
And so he was constantly subject to all the like elements such as wind, rain, and stuff like that, constantly burning steaks and stuff. So he's like, I need to figure a way to get a grill that actually works. So he was welding metal buoys for the Chicago Yacht Club as well as the Coast Guard. And so one day he looked at two pieces. It was like a bottom part piece and a top piece, and he's like, you know what, I think I might be able to make a grill out of it. So the story goes is that he took it home, put the grates in it, lit it, and it didn't work. And apparently his neighbor saw him going through all this stuff and it's like, hey, George, you need to put some holes in there because obviously fire needs
Yeah.
oxygen and stuff
Uh-huh.
like that.
Uh-huh.
So he's like, oh, okay. So they did that and the
Sure
rest
enough.
is history.
Sure enough.
That
yeah.
is fascinating.
Yeah.
No, and so like if there's the Weber Grill restaurant in Chicago, you can actually see like the actual model. It's a fake one, but it's just
Right.
the
Yeah,
the
yeah.
whole concept of it is
Yeah.
pretty cool.
So
So
first concept.
yeah, yeah.
Crazy. Yeah.
So
Huh.
and you know, I'm sure you guys have seen these Weber kettles. It's a very iconic
Yes.
image.
Mhm,
You
definitely.
see them
You know
everywhere.
it. Yep.
And they last forever too.
Yes.
That's the thing. Yeah, you might have to change out the grates and stuff every once in a while, but the porcelain enamel cover is just what makes it last so long. So yeah,
It's a cool look too. I mean, it's,
Yeah.
like you said, it's iconic.
yeah, it is.
Yeah. And so obviously we talked a little bit about history,
Right.
but I'd love to kind of like jump into some of the future things that are happening with Weber, because I know that
Yes.
there's some exciting products and features and things that are just because they're always coming out with something crazy.
So yeah, so I mean, smart grilling is becoming bigger and bigger
Mhm.
every year. You know, you got your Wi-Fi connections. You're able to control temperatures with your phone, get your temperatures. I mean, it's amazing to see what's going on. As a matter of fact, Weber is launching a new Summit Smart Grill this July. This smart grill will be the first gas grill out there where you're able to adjust all your temperatures with your phone. Okay, so
Oh.
you can currently do that like on pellet grills and stuff like
Uh-huh.
that,
Yeah.
right? But this will be like one of the first gas grills out there where
Crazy,
you're able
yeah.
to do it. Yeah, has a nice LED screen on it. It'll show you recipes and stuff like that. I mean, it's pretty mind blowing.
Yeah.
Other new things that are coming out there or that are popular is obviously flat top griddles. That is a big one.
Mm-hmm.
I will be honest, a couple years ago, 3 years, 4 years ago, this was before Weber got into it. And I was like, what is the big deal about these things? You know, these Blackstones or whatever. And Weber then got into an accessory kit item called the Weber Crafted, which was a griddle that fits inside your current gas grill.
Mhm.
Okay. I was doing a demo, doing some burgers, and I'm like, wow, this thing's amazing. So I'm like, I wish we, came out with a full size one. And sure enough, Weber came out with it. And 2 years ago, the Weber G28 and G36. And then now this year, which is exciting, it's new technology. It's the Weber Slate Grill, which is a rust resistant finish.
Yeah.
And also it's already pre-seasoned. So you don't have to worry about the elements and stuff like that. So the rust resistant, that's like the number one complaint people have is with their flat tops is the rust and stuff. So, and maintenance wise.
Yeah.
Another one is our new Searwood pellet grill that came out. This thing has actually done very well. You look at all the reviews and everything, people love it. You know, it gets from 180 degrees up to 600 degrees. You can sear on it. You can smoke on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can actually put one of our full-size griddle inserts into it and do griddling on it.
Crazy.
Oh, cool.
And so the thing with pellet grills is that, people don't realize that you can't cook with the lid open, right? Pellet grills don't like that because the temperature, the thermocouple is reading everything, it's feeding pellets. So Weber has a new manual mode on their Searwood. Now the manual mode will actually tell the grill itself, like, feed this amount of pellets because you're going to be grilling with the lid open.
Yeah.
And so you'll be able to griddle on it as well.
Oh, interesting.
So, yeah.
That like solves all of the current qualms we have with pellet grilling. That's pretty genius.
Yeah.
So and so it's just one of those things that, like you said, is that pellet grills can be kind of finicky and stuff like that.
Yes.
So
yes.
you speaking from experience.
Yeah. I am.
So we've designed that. We're going to market with it. We love it. I mean, Weber has done a lot of great innovation this year too, and there's more stuff coming out too. And one thing I think down the road that people need to start looking at is electric grills. Excuse me. As we know, electric is becoming more and more popular out there. So, I mean, you got your cars, everything. So, and also you have a lot of condos and places that have restrictions.
Yeah,
you
won't allow it.
Have charcoal or gas on there. So they come to you guys and like, hey, do you guys have electric grills and stuff? And so, but yeah, that's kind of a little bit of the industry.
Yeah, fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm excited to see all of these things in person. I some of these products I haven't seen, so I'm gonna
Mhm.
probably have to stop in the store and take a look at some of this stuff.
Mhm.
So,
Yes.
okay, I want to jump into the reason we brought you up here
Yes.
for some myths. So the first one that I have,
Okay.
I'm definitely ashamed to say that I've done, is that you can test a grill's temperature by holding your hand over it. I've done it. I've been like, it seems pretty hot. This seems good.
Yeah, that's
Is that
basically
not-
that's all basically all you can tell is like, yeah, it's hot. You can't get an exact
Yeah.
read. Plus, everyone's different, right? So
Mhm.
people's pain thresholds
Yes.
are totally different.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's oh, hey, it's hot. No, oh, it's cool. But yeah, no, that is you can't. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, you can get like an infrared gun where you can
Mhm.
shoot onto the grates or whatever to get an exact temperature read.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the lids on a lot of these grills, they have thermometers
Yeah.
and they will tell you what the temperature is at that level.
Yeah.
Now you do have like grill enthusiasts that they want to know exactly on that grate, and that's why I said the
Oh,
infrared. So,
sure.
yeah, but
Gotcha.
no,
Sure.
you can't. You can just tell if it's hot,
Yeah.
or you can burn yourself.
Yeah.
Trust
Says
me.
the guy with the bandage on his
I
hands.
know.
Yeah.
I got kind of beat up. That's a long story. I'll have to tell you about it. Okay, so that one I think we're debunking. That's it. You're
Mhm.
not really able to tell
No.
much other than hot.
No.
And that's not going to help you that much at the end of the
Mm-mm.
day. So let's move on to my next one. Lighter fluid on charcoal is the best way to
Don't-
get things nice
Don't
and
ever
hot.
say that.
No?
No, do not ever say that. Okay, so I didn't know better until I started with Weber, right? So because you would always smell lighter fluid when
Yeah.
I was younger. You're like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, they're they're
Grilling,
barbecuing,
yeah.
they're grilling. Hey, it smells good. And then I started working for Weber, and they use what you call a charcoal starter or
Uh-huh.
chimney starter, excuse me.
Okay.
And so what you do, it's a cylinder that you pour charcoal into it, and you can use newspaper or little lighter cubes underneath to light the charcoal. And what it does, it's like a vortex and a cylinder where the heat rises and stuff, and your charcoal's ready within
Oh, wow.
probably 10 to 15 minutes. Now, the problem with lighter fluid it coats your food
Yeah.
with like some
Yes.
type
It's
of
disgusting.
and you can taste it.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so I didn't know better
Uh-huh.
until I started working for Weber. And so my father-in-law, oh my gosh. So every time he grills steaks, I'm like, Jen, let me cook them. Okay. So like I will grab my chimney starter, take it to his house because
Uh-huh.
he loves to put lighter fluid. And I'll never forget one day I ate a steak, after working with Weber, I'm like, man, this is horrible. So it just had that coating on it
Yeah.
and
Uh-huh.
it
So
tastes.
gross.
No, I just wish I want you three here to actually pledge that you will never use lighter fluid on your
No,
charcoal grills.
I will
I
not.
will never
Okay.
use that.
I have an
Yeah.
aunt that likes to do that, and every time I go over there, I'm like, no.
You're trying
Gonna
to
have take the
poison
lighter
us.
No,
fluid
yeah, it's like a
vegetables and the
chemical.
lighter-
I don't know if you
It's
wanna put that on
really
it.
not good.
No, it's
But
yeah.
the heat burns it all up, doesn't it? I mean, you
You can
couldn't
still
possibly.
taste it.
Oh,
You could,
okay.
yeah, it's just the whatever.
Essence of
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
So no, chimney starters are the best way
uh-huh.
to actually light your charcoal.
Okay. Chimney starter. So we've debunked lighter fluid as the best method.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So the next one that I have for you is searing meat seals in the juices. Is that a myth or not?
So that is a myth.
Okay.
That is a myth. And I have done a lot of research on this.
Okay.
And I will say, like, I always thought, that it would seal in the juices.
Yeah, I thought that was the point. Why else am I doing it?
Yeah, no. So the whole purpose of actually searing is it creates what you call a Maillard reaction, which is a chemical reaction that takes water and sugars and browns your meat. So it gives you the color
Mhm.
and it gives you the flavor.
Mhm.
It doesn't seal in juices and stuff.
Okay.
So, I mean, meat is like made out of 70% water. Like us, we're
Mhm.
made mostly out of water and stuff.
Mhm.
So no, it just gives it the color and the flavor. So there are two different methods to actually searing meat, right? You guys heard of the reverse sear?
Mhm.
Okay. So basically what that is you're cooking your meat like at a lower temperature, like maybe let's say 300 degrees, right? And so you're getting more of an even cook and stuff. And then at the last minute, 2 minutes, whatever, then you sear it completely.
Mhm.
So and the reason why they do that is for the color,
Mhm.
right? It's not
Mhm.
to seal in the juices or anything,
Right.
because if it was, people would do it in the beginning. So
Uh-huh.
no, it's it's a myth. It doesn't seal anything because as soon as you're cooking, you can hear all that sizzle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's water
That's
leaking
the-
out. That's the
Yeah.
juices
Juice,
coming out.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. So
Okay.
no, myth.
You just want it to look good. You want it to have that little
Yes.
bit of like
Like
that
crust.
Crust.
Yeah, that
Yes.
crusty, like the,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm learning. This is good stuff. Okay. The next one that I have, that red juice. We're talking about like things.
Blood?
Yeah. Is that blood?
Oh my
That's-
gosh, yeah. No,
it's
no,
actually
it's not blood.
Is that's
No.
not okay? So
no,
this is the
it's
myth.
not blood. Hey, I think everyone still thinks it's blood.
I think so.
No, it's not. No, it's myoglobin, which is a protein found in the muscles of meat and gives it that color. It's not blood because blood would be super red,
Yeah.
super dark, and thick and stuff. So it's just this pink protein cell that actually combines with water and gives
Yeah.
it that color. So no, it's not blood. My kids, everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, my steak is so bloody." I'm like, "Oh no, it's not. It's not blood." I'm like, first of all, it's better to eat it that way versus well done. So
Right.
that's a whole nother story that we can go
Another
into.
debate.
Another
yeah.
debate.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So it's not blood. We don't need to like get our fangs out.
No, no, you're not a
to
vampire.
eat.
No,
Okay.
no.
All right. That makes sense. I don't know why. I just thought it just looked kind of like blood.
Well, I mean, like logic would tell
Yeah.
you that, but then you
'Cause
think
it's
about
meat.
yes,
Yeah,
You
yes.
think about it.
Really?
But the
Probably
blood is in
not.
the veins,
Right.
not just like flowing freely through muscle.
Through the
No,
muscle.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
The moment you think about this for 1 second, you
You're like,
just have
yeah,
quickly
It's
you
not
Uh-huh.
blood.
poke holes in
Yep.
that idea. Okay.
Yep.
Next myth that I have is stainless steel is the best kind of cooking grate. Is this a myth or not?
Mm.
So it's a personal preference is what it is. And
Okay.
so like a lot of times I get asked by customers on the floor, like, "Hey, which one's better?" And I always tell them, I'm like, it's a personal
Mhm.
preference. Okay. Depending on what your needs are and what your wants are. For instance, like cast iron cooking grates. I personally like cast iron.
Mhm.
The reason because it retains its heat so
Heat.
well. And yes,
Mhm.
and it gives it such a great sear mark on your
Mhm.
food
Yeah.
and stuff. And
Mhm.
if, as you know, visuals actually are taste.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So when you see something that looks great,
Yeah.
your mind's saying, "Oh man, this is
It's
gonna
good.
taste
Yeah.
good." Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Stainless steel lasts a long time. Okay, easier maintenance.
Mhm.
As long as you take care of your, let's say, cast iron cooking grates, season them, clean them off after you're done cooking stuff, they're going
Mhm.
to last a while. Stainless steel, again, they're the great choice. They're going to last. They're not going to rust and stuff
Mhm.
like that. So, with like our Weber Genesis grills, plug, they both have a 10-year warranty on them. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So it's really up to the customer what they want. You can always switch them out too. I mean, you can buy stainless steel grates later if you want. So what I've done in the past is I've always had one side cast iron and one side stainless steel.
Oh, smart.
Look at you.
Yeah, I know. So I like depending on what I'm cooking. Like if I want steak, I'll put on the cast iron. If I'm
Mhm.
just doing chicken breast, whatever, put on the stainless steel.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
Makes
Gotcha.
sense.
Yeah.
A good way to kind of get around like preference of one or the
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
You get the best
have
of both
both.
worlds.
Yes.
Yeah. I love it. Okay. So I've heard this one for years. You should only flip your meat one time when you're cooking it.
I've heard that several times.
I've heard that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why
Mhm.
do we hear this one? What's this one about?
I guess people think that it's going to like cook evenly, right? That
Okay.
way, but no, it's not. You probably want to flip it as much as you can in different spots, right? Because like we were talking about searing, right? So you have contact from the grill grates that are hitting that element of the steak, right? So if you flip it again in a different spot, you're going to get more contact. You're going to get more browning, more flavor that way.
Yeah.
And actually, when you flip your meat more, you're actually going to be cooking it a lot more evenly.
Interesting.
Okay? So no, people. I just say like, do what you like.
Mhm.
Cook the way you want to cook, whatever. And if you've gone to someone's house or gone to somewhere and you're like, wow, this tastes good, really good. Hey, try that,
Mhm.
this time. But no, flip it as much as you want. It's not going to do anything.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay.
a myth.
Yeah, and it probably will cook more even.
Mhm.
'cause
Yeah,
it's
that makes
just-
sense.
Yeah. you
Again,
get,
if you think about it.
Yeah.
get a little hot here, a little hot there.
Well, you don't want to burn
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
yeah.
And so like, okay, so we have a new infrared broiler on our Summit grill. Okay, which is actually from top to down and it shoots 1,500 degrees.
Wow.
Oh.
Okay, so this is new for Weber. and it's going to give it like a crust and a sear, just like those high-end, steakhouses, like
Mhm.
Peter
Yeah,
Luger's, whatever,
yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So the thing is, though, when you're putting that on that shelf, you have to flip it constantly, or else it's going to burn, because you're doing
yeah.
such a high heat and that searing, right? To not lock in the juices, but to create
Create the
that crust
crust.
and flavor.
Yeah.
So
Yum.
yeah,
Got
so
it.
you're constantly flipping.
Got
And you
it.
look at a rotisserie, right?
Yep.
What's the chicken
Yeah.
do?
Mhm.
Constantly
Basins
turning.
juices.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's going around and around.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. We're learning. We're learning
Wow.
here.
Wow.
Okay. I just have time for maybe one more.
Okay.
So I'm going to pick a good one.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh, let's do this one. I feel like it's a good way to end.
Okay.
You can't grill dessert. Myth or not?
That is a myth. You can even cook ice cream on the grill.
No.
I know, I'm totally kidding. No.
I know. I'm like, whoa.
You should have seen your
Mind
faces like,
blown.
What? How do you cook ice cream?
you make
You
it, you
had to
turn it
go
into
for
a malt
second.
or a shake.
Okay.
You can melt it on there.
Like
I'm
soup.
sure.
No, you can cook desserts on the grill. A lot of people don't realize that your grill acts as another oven,
Yeah.
convection oven.
Mhm.
I've baked muffins on the grill. I've baked cakes on the grill. Do cookies on the grill. I mean, there's a lot of accessories that a lot of grill manufacturers produce, so that you can make your outside backyard a more versatile, like just like an indoor kitchen.
Yeah.
So no, cooking desserts is actually, I prefer it, like cobblers with a cast iron
Mhm.
skillet on the grill. You get a
Yeah.
little bit of a smoky flavor
Yeah.
and stuff. Excellent. So no, that is completely a myth. I think what people are, they're just a little afraid of trying
Yes.
things, And as I said in the beginning, there's a learning curve to everything. I always recommend people, or tell people, just try things, go on the web, do some research, look at recipes, just try it,
Mhm.
and eventually you'll master it. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Well, you think about some of like the best things you've eaten, right? Or like really complex in flavor, like
Mhm.
sweet and salty, or savory and sweet. Like, so that makes perfect sense to try
Yeah.
out dessert on
Yeah.
the grill.
Absolutely. And flat tops have made it even more easy, like because you can do pancakes, chocolate chip
Oh,
pancakes,
yep.
and
Yeah.
stuff like
Yep.
that. So yeah, I haven't eaten this morning, so we're talking about
getting
food right now.
Right.
So I'm getting
Hungry from all
hungry.
this
Yeah.
conversation.
Agreed.
100%.
I could
Scott
have made
edited out
steaks for you
the-
guys or breakfast for you
Yeah.
next time.
I
That would be good.
know.
Live
We grilled
cook
last night. We
demonstration
should
on
have
the podcast.
There
changed
you
it
go.
around.
The ASMR alone, right? Okay. Let's wrap this up.
Okay.
I've got one final question
Yes.
for you. This episode is going to run fairly close to the 4th of July, which is like prime grilling season.
Yes.
Any final tips for listeners who are looking to make their holiday experience awesome?
Absolutely. The biggest thing I could say is make sure you prep yourself at least the
Mhm.
day before. Make sure you have enough fuel in your gas grill, or enough charcoal, or enough pellets,
Mhm.
for that. Because honestly, one of the worst things you can do is start cooking, and in the middle of the cook, you run out of fuel.
Yes.
And you're
Yeah.
like,
And everything's
Yeah.
closed.
It's
cow.
just
Yeah.
not a
Yeah, exactly. Or you run to the neighbors and steal
Uh-huh.
propane.
Yes.
I'm not
We've
saying I
all
did
done
that,
it.
but
I
I think
mean-
that yes.
Oh.
Yes, I have done it. So prepping, making sure your grill is clean.
Mhm.
Also, like I said, prepping the food beforehand. If you're going to do
Mhm.
hamburgers and you make your own patties, I highly recommend it the night
Yeah.
before.
Mhm.
Just get everything ready so that you can actually enjoy your time with your guests
Yes.
and your family and stuff like that, and don't have to worry about, oh my gosh.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
You're frantic and
Yeah.
people want to help, but
Oh,
you don't
wow.
know how to have them help. And
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, but those are really the only tips that I have. But enjoy it. Don't have your grill next to any fireworks either.
Yeah.
So
There you go.
Yeah.
Very practical, but very smart.
yes,
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 yes.
yes.
Okay. Well, Steve, this was so great. Thanks again for
No,
being
thank you.
here.
Appreciate it.
And thanks, of course, to Becca and Hilary, our producers, Ann and Scott, and to all of you listeners. If you like the show, we'd love your feedback. Ratings help us wherever you listen. And when you're done, hop over to nfm.com, where you can shop 24/7 for Weber grills, along with a whole lot of other stuff for your home life. Thanks again. And remember, home is what you make it.
Thanks for joining us today for I Am Home with Tyler Weisskopf, Hilary Woltemath, and Becca Sudbeck. No one knows home quite like NFM. So if you'd like more information on home design at NFM, please check out nfm.com and leave us a review on the podcast platform of your choice.